Right now, everyone is getting hyped up for Part 6 of Jojo's to come out, and I am really no exception. So with that in mind, I want to take this opportunity to take a look back at the series with a closer eye on what is easily its most popular character. Whether you love him, love to hate him, or just got bombarded with memes of him despite never even touching this series, you at least know about this vampire with a god complex. But just how strong is the god with a capital D? Well, that's exactly what I plan to explore with this video, so sit back, relax, and let's go over just how strong DIO is. Now for this video, I will only be discussing the anime, since trust me, that is plenty for one video. So no Eye of Heaven, no timeline multiverse bullshit, just good old DIO. However, this video will be a little different from the rest of my series. Normally, I discuss how strong a character is at a very specific point in their respective story. For Eren, it was in Season 4 with some minor manga spoilers, just as one example. However, DIO is a little interesting in this regard. His power fluctuates throughout the story, instead of being a linear upward progression. So for this, I will be going over where those changes in strength happen and discuss what his best feats are as a whole. As usual, let's start with brute physical power. Now in terms of physical ability, we can see a trend of how strong he gets. He first attains his vampiric abilities and is able to casually rip through human bodies and bust through the stone of the mansion. He also manages to easily bend an iron spear. He presumably gets stronger throughout part 1 as well, although this might just be referring to his skill with his powers and not his actual physical ability. We do know that he gets weaker when he takes Jonathan's body though, and while he uses regeneration to demonstrate this, it likely translates to all of his physical stats. This is especially likely to be the case since when he hurts a person, his casual attacks do not rip through them, but instead just breaks their bones. That isn't to say that DIO couldn't kill this man if he tried, but he had no reason to keep him alive, and it is notable that attacks dished out with the same casualness were met with lesser results. However, he is plenty strong, able to deflect Emerald Splash with one finger with enough force to tear through the steel of the car he was in. And then, when he finally drinks Joseph's blood, he makes Jonathan's body fully acclimate to him, and he says that he has never felt better, which seems to imply he's physically stronger than even during Phantom Blood. We can also assume that DIO at his strongest was probably stronger than Strizo as a vampire, and Strizo was able to exert 235 kilograms per square centimeter with just a finger, which does line up nicely with DIO outclassing Emerald Splash with one finger as well. This all being said, trying to figure out DIO's exact punching strength, both for himself and the world, is actually very difficult. Like yeah, the world punches through Kakyoin, which is impressive, and a full power DIO should reasonably be able to do that as well. But neither his body or his stand show a quantifiable upper limit for their power. Even though the world is comparable to Star Platinum also has similar issues, where any feat he has where he's really trying, he does so with an unspecified number of punches. For the purposes of a video like this, I want to know what they can do with one full power strike, not what they can accomplish if their opponent stands still and takes a beating for a couple minutes. So for DIO and the world, the best I can reasonably do is give what I think is a minimum of what they've shown to be capable of and add the fact that it's probably higher than that. With this, let's take a closer look at when the world punched Kakyoin through the chest. Now, with the way this punch is positioned, it probably went through at least a few ribs and the spine. Each rib would take at least upwards of a few thousand newtons just to crack, much less break through completely, and the spine is no different. Plus, all the meat is there to take some of the blow, so with all of this taken into account, a punch like this would have exerted at least a couple tons of force, and that is being very conservative in my opinion. Also, this is before he drinks Joseph's blood, so I'm going to give DIO's striking strength a lowball estimate of around 10 tons. Again, that is probably lower than the actual value, but the lack of a defined upper limit makes this extremely difficult. Now normally I have a whole section dedicated for durability in videos like this, but it has a lot of the same issues as calculating his power does. So for that, I am just going to say his durability should be relative to his striking power, since he is able to tank the force of his own punches, but starts to get damaged the moment he gets overpowered. And now we can talk about speed. Now, when rereading parts 1 and 3, I was very confident I had a solid understanding of speed in the JoJo's verse. I was very wrong in that regard. I have never been more frustrated with this series until now, because it seems that Araki has gone out of his way to construct one of the most blatantly inconsistent speed scalings I have ever seen. Even One Piece has nothing on this. Like, let's take Bleach for example. Most people consider Bleach to be a pretty featless series. Like, aside from the faster than light meta, which is probable at best, that's mostly true. JoJo's has the opposite issue. There are a ton of feats and statements that are totally quantifiable, but none of this shit adds up. Here, let me take you through this. So Phantom Blood doesn't have much in the way of feats, but we don't get the impression that the speed ceiling is very high. This is because Speedwagon, a normal person with presumably normal reaction speed, is able to watch and commentate on the fights. He also gives us the best statement for speed in Phantom Blood, when he says that Dio's speed is like a leopard's. And we know that Speedwagon knows what he's talking about, because earlier in chapter 14, we find out that Speedwagon is very well traveled and familiar with exotic animals, particularly those from Africa, which leopards do hail from. So when Speedwagon says this, it's not just some random statement, he genuinely does have the information and can confirm it by watching Dio fight. As far as Phantom Blood is concerned, we have one solid statement about speed that is not contradicted in the part and comes from a well-informed source. Now let's skip ahead to Stardust Crusaders. We'll get to part 2 in a moment, trust me, we will, but part 3 first. Now in part 3, the speed-based stands are faster than people and probably even leopards. Shocking, I know. And it's all fine until we get to Hanged Man. Hanged Man is a stand that travels at the speed of light in directional movements. With Silver Chariot, Polnareff forces Hanged Man to go a specific direction and hits it. Now a lot of people have said that even though he knew the direction, Silver Chariot would have to go faster than light to still make the move. But Araki is very clearly setting it up to where the sole reason Polnareff could make this move was because of trickiness and prediction. Obviously that isn't the most realistic, but that is the clear narrative intention as far as I can tell. From this alone, this is not sufficient evidence for a faster than light meta in JoJo's, and I was satisfied with this. But then we go to part 2. Now battle tendency is similar to Phantom Blood because it looks like it should have a similar power ceiling to some degree. Obviously the Pillar Men are stronger than vampires, but the portrayal is not by some astronomical level. So then why does Cars react to a point-blank attack from an explicitly light-based laser? Now there is another feat like this where Joseph and Caesar dodge a light-based attack as well. It's kind of hard to tell if this is a genuinely FTL feat though. The paneling clearly shows them react to the attack before it is shot out, and it's hard to tell if it was actually going to hit them anyway. After all, there's the angling of the panel, and why would Lisa try to hit them? So I kinda chalk this moment up to a maybe. My point is, the Cars feat is fucking weird. Like, I genuinely have no excuse. There is no way to reason that he is not faster than light in that moment. Like the other two moments I've mentioned can be aim dodging or aim hitting. In fact, one of them seems to very explicitly be aim hitting. But I genuinely don't know what to make of the Cars feat. Now maybe you're sitting in your chair right now or looking down at your phone and you're thinking to yourself, well, Zenith, maybe you're taking Speedwagon's statement too seriously and are biased against the possibility of a faster than light JoJo's meta. And normally I'd be with you on that. But then we go to part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. And Josuke says that his stand Crazy Diamond should be over 300 kilometers in its punching speed. Now granted, that's pretty fast, but it ain't nowhere near light speed. And why would Araki have Josuke say this very specific number if it wasn't at least close to the right answer? Oh, but this is part 4. We also have the whole clusterfuck with Red Hot Chili Pepper. What the fuck? Why does Araki keep setting up these feats and statements that are very much not even close to light speed, and then keep introducing abilities that have to do with the speed of light? It's just absurd at this point, and I really don't know what to make of it. So I guess I'll leave it at this. Personally, because of how Araki specifically portrays most scenes involving these faster-than-light feats and statements I have already mentioned, I find it very difficult to outright accept the faster-than-light meta. However, I do fully understand why so many people in the JoJo's community do accept it. This disagreement in the fanbase is not your fault, nor is it my fault. It's Araki's fault for making one of the most bizarre speed scalings I have ever seen in a series. This shit is just ridiculous. What the fuck, Araki? So I guess for this, going back to Dio, if one is to dismiss the faster-than-light meta, then I would say that Dio is faster than a leopard, at least at his strongest, which has a top speed of 36 miles per hour, although sources on this vary. So I'll give Dio a speed upwards of 16 meters per second. As for his stand the world, it was somewhat relative to Star Platinum, even though it lost, and Star Platinum reacted to Crazy Diamond, which can punch faster than 300 kilometers per hour. In that little bout between Jotaro and Josuke, it's hard to tell who is faster since Jotaro's statement leaves it intentionally ambiguous as to who would have won if he didn't use Time Stop. I'll just say that they're relative to each other, with one being a little faster than the other. So the world should also be able to punch faster than 300 kilometers per hour, or upwards of around 83 meters per second, probably faster. However, if you do accept the faster than light meta, then the world is faster than light. I really don't care at this point. Lastly, Dio has a variety of abilities, such as regeneration and zombie creation. He also has full control over his biology, giving him the ability to shoot fluid from his eyes with enough pressure to cut through stone, and the ability to evaporate his blood and freeze people at temperatures below what the human body can handle. And with Sawarudo, he can stop time for 9 seconds at his peak. Okay, I think that covers everything relevant to combat. I really don't think I missed anything. Okay, I don't know. That's the video, I think. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty exhausted right now after all that. I don't want to think about JoJo's for a while because of how frustrating that was. Thank you for watching. I'm going to bed now. Fuck off. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and take care.